It's not just humans that are dangerous. The animal kingdom is full of creatures that can be just as deadly, and many of them are surprisingly strong to boot. Here are top 10 surprisingly strong and dangerous animals. Number 10. Hippos. The hippo is considered by many as one of the most dangerous animals in the world, and the locals in Africa claim that hippos kill more people than crocodiles, lions, elephants, and cheetahs combined. They are the third largest land mammal on Earth, after the elephant and the rhinoceros. Their closest relatives are whales, from which they diverged about 55 million years ago. They are semi-aquatic, inhabiting rivers, lakes, and mangrove swamps. They also spend the day submerged in river mud and can come out of dusty graze on grass. They eat over p-100 of vegetation a day, and they can easily kill a crocodile. They didn't expect that part. The thing is, there are no reliable sources that can confirm the rumor, but there are lots of evidence that suggests there are at least 500 deaths related to hippos each year, and that number could potentially be a lot higher. Their massive jaw could easily crush a human if they wanted to, and there have been documented cases of hippos just suddenly deciding to attack a human. Marius Els had a pet hippo, which he had had since it was just a few months old. The hippo seemed tame, allowing elves to hand-feed it and even swim with it. Then one day, an ambulance was called out to El's home, and they found him covered with multiple hippo bites. Apparently, the hippo just suddenly attacked him and pulled him underwater. He was pronounced DOA in the hospital, but I have no idea what happened to the killer hippo. Number 9. Deer. Okay, seriously, follow me on this one, please. You wouldn't think it, but deer are actually pretty dangerous creatures. Oh, what's that? You don't believe me? Well, guess what? The yearly worldwide average of deer-related fatalities is at least 300 people. I guess you won't look at Bambi the same anymore. But how can these normally docile and adorable creatures be the cause of so many deaths? Well, deer have horns, and you might think that this would be the main cause of human fatalities, but no, that's very wrong. Yes, admittedly, there have been recorded cases of fatal deer horn impalement, but that's very rare and far in between. In fact, the latest one, being a man in Arkansas, was gored to death by a deer he shot and thought he was already dead, only in October of this year. With that said, the vast majority of deer-related fatalities happen when deer cross the road, usually at dusk or at dawn, coupled on with a sleepy driver. Then we have a definite recipe for disaster. In the US alone, over 150 cases are reported each year of people running over deer on the highway with very tragic results. Number 8. Bees and wasps. You shouldn't go near them. Next number. Fine. In truth, bees and wasps should have landed higher on our list of the most dangerous animals in the world. The problem is, nobody in the world is actually keeping track of fatalities attributed to them. In the US alone, 50 people per year succumb to bee and wasp attacks. For all we know, that number could balloon to 500 if we include worldwide attacks. Case in point is the Japanese giant hornet. Every year, up to 40 deaths are recorded by the sting of Japanese hornets. The venom of Japanese hornets would cause an allergic reaction and dissolve tissues within the shortest time. The repeated stinging from a group of hornets also result in a very painful death. Japanese hornets are very aggressive and they're fearless. One hornet alone is more than capable of dispatching 40 individual bees by all its lonesome. However, guess what? These guys rarely operate alone. Each colony of Japanese hornets contains up to 700 members, and they feed on honeybee larvae to a significant amount. Yeah, that's right. These things eat bees. The other thing that could sting you, they eat it for breakfast. Number 7. Ants. It's quite counterintuitive to think that ants are more dangerous animals than sharks, but the fact is that they are. In fact, ants are about 3 times as deadly as sharks. Where sharks cause the average of 10 fatalities yearly, ants cause about 30 every year. One particular species to take note of is the bulldog ant. This red, angry-looking variety of ant is one of the largest and most aggressive species of ants on the planet. They have large mandibles and venomous stings that, in humans, can cause intense pain, the worst of any insect sting that can last for several days. They are so aggressive that whenever this ant is cut in half, the head and tail will actually fight and try to kill each other. I suppose it gives new meaning to the "I'll kick anyone's butt, even my own." Another ant worth mentioning is the bullet ants. They are known to have one of the most painful stings. It's found in South America and is also known as the 24 hours ant because of the pain you feel for up to 24 hours after being stung. Some victims even describe being stung by this ant as painful as being shot with a bullet. Number 6. Elephants. Okay, yeah, this one makes a bit more sense. Again, much like deer, elephants would be the last animals you would think to be dangerous to humans, because generally they are viewed as big, dopey little animals. When you think of an elephant, you probably think of them as kind, gigantic, intelligent, majestic creatures who never forget. Well, the thing is, because they are so large and so smart, they pose more of a danger to us than you would think. Elephants will attack if they are injured, or if they feel threatened, or peck if they just feel like it. That one scene from Dumbo, where Dumbo's mother protects him from those kids, is really inaccurate, which will be a lot more bloodshed and body parts. And because they are so big, if they do decide to attack, most of the time the results will be fatal. While doing research for this video, I myself was quite surprised to find out that over 500 fatalities are caused by raging elephant attacks every year. Most of these incidents are caused by elephant bulls who were cast out of the herd, making them all sorts of crazy by overprotective mothers with calves. I guess that one's a little more understandable. In one instance, a 44-year-old man working as an elephant keeper was attacked by a cow elephant when he tripped over a foot chain. While the animal was being medically treated, this poor man fell down and was consequently repeatedly attacked with elephant tusks. The man sustained multiple stab injuries to both groin regions, a penetrating injury to the abdominal wall with traumatic polyps of the loops of the small bowel, multiple defects of the mesentery, and incomplete serration of the abdominal aorta with massive bleeding into the abdominal cavity. In addition to these penetrating injuries, the man sustained multiple rib fractures with contusion of both lungs and laceration of the right lobe of the liver, as well as community fractures of the pelvic arch and left femoral body. For those of us not familiar with medical terms, that just means a whole lot of bad right there. The man died shortly after he had been received at the hospital, sadly. Number 5. Sharks. Okay, so technically you can't run away from this thing, but you can swim pretty fast. I suppose it's up to you, really. We're not talking about an individual species of shark here. No, we're lumping the entire family in as a whole. Movies and media are often spreading the picture of sharks as being ferocious killers that eat and destroy everything that comes in their way. But it's quite exaggerated, and many shark species are harmless to humans except for some, like the tiger shark. You see, each year there are around 75 shark attacks, whereas most arise from a misunderstanding that a server looks similar to steel's. However, only 10 out of these attacks result in the death of the victim. With that said, of course, sharks, especially the great white and bull sharks and tiger sharks, are incredibly powerful predators that should always be respected. However, for at least 2 out of 3 of them, they don't really see humans as food. I'll give you a guess who does see you as food. So if you're scared of sharks, don't think of them as monsters killing thousands of people each year, because that is simply not true. Although that really shouldn't encourage you to go and pet one. Number 4. Teach. Teach flies made it to the list for obvious reasons. This seemingly innocent insect does so much more harm than it's credited for. It's not this fly's bite that kills humans, but the resulting infection that happens afterwards. This insect lives in the tropical regions of Africa, and its bite affects the host. After an attack, the victim is down with sleeping sickness. The typical African sleeping sickness is difficult to treat because the victim may not have access to emergency services as fast as they want. When the victim is left untreated for hours, they could die. Unfortunately, these flies attack in interior villages where emergency services are not readily available. Therefore, there are countless cases of avoidable deaths. Scientists estimate the deaths to be around 50,000 yearly, but a more reliable source says it may have been exaggerated. Since it's difficult to ascertain the real figure, it's safer to say that about 100 people die yearly after being bitten by a tease fly. Number 3. Crocodile. Crocodiles are apex predators and one of the deadliest animals in the world. These mammoths are responsible for about 50 deaths annually. They pass for one of the largest, most dangerous, and aggressive animals on the planet, weighing over 2 psi. They possess immense strength that allows them to take down large prey. To top it all, they can travel at speeds of up to 25 mph. They actively hunt humans and other sea animals and land animals. Most species are ambush predators that prefer hiding in corners while waiting for an unfortunate human to get too close. Attacks happen within seconds as this animal pounces on the humans and drags them into the water to finish what it has started. The deadliest species is the Nile crocodile residing in the Nile River. Ancient Egyptians and even contemporary ones feared them. Residents used to carry tokens of their crocodile god for protection from the animal. Whether or not it worked is a debate for another day. Number 2. Freshwater snail. The freshwater snail is another creature to look out for. You wouldn't expect to find a seemingly innocent creature on this list, but here you have it. It's not the snail that kills directly, but the disease that transmits that does the magic. According to the World Health Organization, millions of people a year suffer from schistosomiasis infection. Between 200 and 2,000 of these cases are fatal. This disease causes severe abdominal pain and blood in the urine. Fortunately, people in developed countries don't have to worry about it, but residents of developing countries are the worst hit. The increasing. Number 1. Brazilian wandering spider. If the size of the spider doesn't scare you, you should take us on some lessons. The sight of these animals inspires a heart attack, as they measure 7 inches long, their sizes on one hand and their venom on the other. This animal boasts a toxic poison that finishes off its victims without remorse. They have fangs full of poison and ready to attack. Most venomous animals are often conned and wait for their victims to fall into their trap. But this wandering spider is far from patient, as their name suggests. They wander around town to search for whoever to devour. They often seek shelter in dark and cold places like inside clothes, locked piles, shoes, cars, and any other comfortable place. Fatalities occur 2 to 6 hours after a bite, resulting in lung failure. Some of the common symptoms include paralysis, vomiting, and fever. Bites from the spider are uncommon, but it's not an excuse to get too familiar with them. If you want to see things for yourself, you can visit the animal and see what their reception looks like. Ensure to stay away from the saw-scale viper in all your dealings, because you may never live to tell the tale. So these were top 15 surprisingly strong and dangerous animals. If you like this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.